You guys know what? Fox is always out here stopping me from saying what I really want to say because I got to be nice, but guess what? Fox is not here. So we're about to get real deep in here today. Last week's video was all about the new Dragon Age, which we're currently playing through and we wanted to talk about because we like it. There's a bunch of reasons why, and we'll get to that in our review in like 100 years when we actually finish it. But we saw that a lot of discourse around the game was very polarized, and we thought maybe it would help some people who are unsure to know how some of the aspects of the game struck us in our first impressions. So we had a good talk about it, and we asked some people to discuss their thoughts about the game so far in the comments. You can go read about a third of those comments right now. Some of them are pretty good. Like we said, opinions are pretty polarized, but some people had a lot of interesting thoughts to share. It was cool talking to those people. But then there was the other 2/3 whose comments didn't make it past the YouTube filter, and I guess only the admins can see them. Almost every one of these comments were some overly verbose form of I don't like Dragon Age cause DEI. DEI writing, DEI characters, DEI art direction. So what's up with DEI? Maybe you're like me and are wondering what it is and how it can be writing and art and design and everything all at the same time. Let's look a little deeper into it and see if we can find out what the hell DEI actually is and why is Dragon Age DEI and why is that making so many people lose it in my mention. DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. It started in the 60s as a way to train people who wanted to discriminate on how to work with others. That's the YouTube-friendly way to say it. Laws were passed making it illegal to, for example, not consider someone for a job just because of the color of their skin, or make it illegal to not allow a student into a public school because of their race. It's all about making life fair for everyone, even if a big group of people really hate the idea that people should be treated equally. Racists didn't like being told they couldn't be racist then, and they still don't now, but in the years since DEI was created, some people began to accept people of other races and cultures than they are as just people. And that's a great thing. We can all agree on that, right? Or it would be if that was the whole story. First of all, condensing the struggles for civil rights in America down to a few sentences is leaving a whole lot of very important shit out. And second, other issues cause people to be discriminated against, such as being LGBT. I know y'all like to stereotype all DEI supporters as crazy performative activists, but let's be honest. It's easy, it's funny, but it's not the truth. The same way all gamers are not the crusty South Park meme, and you are not the worst and most extreme of whatever you are, neither are the supporters of DEI. At the end of the day, all this struggle is just about being comfortable being you. Not having to play a role or act like something you're not just to get a job or not get murdered by the police. If we are all equal as Americans, then we should all feel just as safe in our own skin as everybody else, right? We should all have the same opportunities when we put in the work. Then DEI wouldn't ever have needed to exist in the first place. Some of you are way too deep in your fantasy self-image that you don't realize that you have more in common with the weirdos you make fun of than of the cool shit that you idolize. And while that's sad in itself, that's your choice to make. You do you. You don't get to decide how other people live though. This is the way it should be, right? So then we come back around to Dragon Age, the Veilguard, and video games in the 2020s. There are more developers out there making games than there have ever been, and that's a great thing. There are more diverse people out there telling these stories, and that's a great thing too. Seems like so far we can all agree on most of what I said here, right? Well, here comes the divisive part. These new video games come out and some of the choices made by the game developers don't land with some people. That's to be expected though, right? It's very rare that any piece of entertainment is beloved by all the widely diverse groups of people that are out there in the world for the same reasons. Anybody remember when Nintendo released Wind Waker and how loudly some people took offense to the art style? What about the many times Hideo Kojima has been accused of bad writing in his games that years later become classics? It's normal for people not to like things, right? The difference is today, instead of discussing what people don't like about it on its own merits, people use DEI as the reason. There's a character in here with cringy dialogue, must be the gay writer with rainbow hair. I really hate the more stylized graphics Dragon Age decided to go with this time. It must be because you had the option to make your character trans. Couldn't be anything else, right? The plot didn't go where I was expecting after Inquisition. Must be DEI. You all know this argument makes no sense at all, right? I'm not telling you what to do or think. It will be a whole lot better in the world if people thought for themselves, but hey, what you gonna do? People are lazy. Ignorance is bliss. Why do you think my man's is on the thumbnail? See you next time.